Welcome back to Leeds Late for the live watch-along of Leeds United versus Newcastle United at Elland Road. Looking forward to this one. Welcome to everybody who has joined us already. Welcome, of course, to our Leeds Late members like John Garside. And welcome, of course, to our other regulars as well, Penny Lane, Karen Curtin. Welcome, everybody who is joining me. We'll talk about Leeds lineup in just a second. We'll just wait for a few more people to join us. I hope everybody's well. Welcome, Hank. I hope everybody's well and that they're looking forward to this one. It's going to be an important game for us to try and get something from. It really is going to be an important game for us just to get something from. Let me just tilt my green screen, my camera just slightly to get rid of that little tiny. Wait, there. Can you see it? A little bit of a crack in reality. Look. Ah! Let me just turn that away from that. Otherwise, I probably will. Get slightly distracted. So, hi everybody who's joining us. We'll talk about the lineups in just a second. It seems to me as though, actually, I've left Newcastle as 4-3-3, but in reality, what I think it's going to be is 3-4-3 is what I think their formation is going to be. So, welcome CB, another one of our Leeds Late members, of course. So, when we're actually kind of talking about this lineup for Newcastle, Pope in goal, then you've got Shah, Botman and Byrne, who seem to be the ones who are going to make up a back three. And then you've got Trippier and Livramento also playing, which makes me think that they're going to be right and left midfielders dropping back into right and left back. Wing backs essentially. Then Guimaraes and Tonali's been cleared fit to play when we didn't think he was going to play, so that was a bit of a blow for Leeds. And then up front, it looks like it's going to be Ramsey out on the left, Murphy out on the right, and Osula, the youngster, through the middle. So for me, it seems like it's going to be a bit of a 3-4-3 for Newcastle, and they're going to try and frustrate us, which I didn't predict exactly that they were going to play a 3 at the back, but I predicted that they would drop into a 3 at the back in my tactical preview and try to be a little bit kind of soak up some pressure and then play on the break a little bit. And Eddie Howe in his pre-match interviews talked about wanting to be a bit more, use a bit more of his squad and be a bit more kind of agile with formations and things. So that's kind of where I see Newcastle. If you haven't already, that tactical preview is probably a good one to watch for this game. But obviously it's a bit late now, but there'll be one every week. So make sure you check out the tactical previews of all the matches. So that looks like that's what Newcastle's side's going to be. Pope, and then a back 5/back 3 with wing backs of Trippier, Sharp, Botman, Byrne and Livramento. Guimaraes and Tonali in the midfield. And then Jacob Ramsey, Jacob Murphy, and Osula making up a front three. No worries, CB. So if we quickly press this button and we can change the teams. Leeds United in a 4-3-3. Looks like this will be the lineup for Leeds. Perry in goal, Bogle right back, Rodon, Strauch and Goodman to make up the rest of the back four, that as to kind of be expected. In the midfield, you've got Gruev, Stack and Longstaff makes his first ever start for Leeds United against, of course, his former club. That he was there apparently for 18 years, came through the academy and playing against them tonight, so that's going to be a bit of a weird one for him. And then you've got Dan James out on the right, Wilfred Nonto out on the left, and Metcha starts over Piru. And then, of course, we do have Dominic Calvert-Lewin on the bench as well. The rest of the bench is as follows. Darlow, James Justin makes the bench for the first time, I think. Bornau, Biol, Okafor, Harrison, Aronson, Piru and Calvert-Lewin. So yeah, that's the way that Leeds line up, and that is the bench for Leeds United as well. Looks like it's putting down a bit of rain at Leeds as well, but I'll keep that lineup up just in case anyone asks about the bench again. But that is, as it stands at the moment, that's the way that Leeds are lining up, and the way that Newcastle are lining up as well. If you ever want me to flick between them, just let me know. But again, nervous for this one. Newcastle aren't even particularly the sort of side that we should be expecting to be beating, but I know it was only pre-season, but I'll gain a little bit of hope from the fact that we drew with Scum, we drew with Villarreal, and we drew with AC Milan, who granted weren't playing a full-strength side. But if we could get a draw with Newcastle, that would be a great result for us. To have 4 points at this point is excellent. Sunderland won earlier. Burnley lost to a 90+7 minute penalty, which is the most scum thing I've ever heard. Feel a bit sorry for Burnley on that one. Sunderland beat Brentford with a late penalty and another goal. Bournemouth beat Spurs. Everton beat Wolves. And Chelsea beat Fulham. Those are the other scores from today. So as it stands at the moment, Wolves played 3, lost 3, -6 goal difference. West Ham played 2, lost 2, -7 goal difference. I imagine that Wolves, West Ham, and honestly at the moment, if we don't make the signings, Wolves, West Ham and us look like the ones that are going to struggle this season. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what we can get from tonight's game, because if we can get a point out of tonight's game, honestly, absolutely buzzing. Absolutely buzzing if we can get a point out of this game. To be on 4 points from Newcastle, Arsenal and Everton, that's what you'd want, really. That is what you'd want. So, yeah. Hopefully Gruev has a good game, like Hank's saying. Sean Longstaff will do you running in there. The one thing I do think is positive for Leeds is that if Newcastle are playing with a back three and Tonali and Guimaraes in midfield, Leeds could be have a one-player overload in the centre of midfield for the game. So if you've got Stack, Gruev and Longstaff in there, there's a chance that Leeds actually outrun them in the midfield and dominate the midfield, which obviously Tonali and Guimaraes are both better midfielders than anything that Leeds have got, but there's not much you can do about an extra man, an extra option to pass to and stuff, so that should help us in there, theoretically. So that could be a mistake from that could be a mistake from Eddie Howe. By the way, you know how we talk about so this shirt, I think it's from the season where we just stayed up, potentially. Not sure. I don't think it's from the relegation season. But the collar and the thing, everybody said, well, that's not yellow. That's a bit green. Like that's not Leeds colours. And this has proved it, right? Because when you set up a green screen, you have to basically click the green screen in the background and then kind of filter similar colours to make sure that all of the green screen disappears behind me, so you get like a perfect green screen like we've got here. But this is a similar enough colour to green for it to completely disappear, and no matter what I do, it doesn't even flick in and out. It's like fully gone. So that just proves that the season from this kit had green on it rather than yellow. But I mean, it does look quite cool on the green that I've got part of my shirt green screened. But yeah, players are getting ready to head out onto the pitch now. They've got Shay Given and Stuart Dallas in the I was going to say in the YouTube studio, but YouTube Studio is the app that you stream through. Tell you what, though, I haven't started a super chat goal. Let's set 2 hours. Players are heading out onto the pitch now. Lucas Metcher having a conversation with his Lucas Metcher having a conversation with his mascot there. Hi, Chaz. Chaz, as usual, coming with some statistics. Hello, everyone. The due stats for this game. By the way, that shirt is 22-23 relegation shirt. Right, yeah, it's that one. Our record against Newcastle is 139, drawn 21, lost 40. Our last win was in 2021, and our last result was a draw in 2023. Yeah, we'd not lost against them for years, had we? And apart from that 1-0 loss, it was when Eddie Howe was like on the brink of just turning their whole club around, and with the takeover and all that sort of thing. Eddie Howe just went and said hello to Carl Darlow. Forgot about that as well. But yeah, so it was when we lost against them at Elland Road in that 1-0 game that we really should have won. Anyway, Leeds United lineup then. I'll go through it again as there's more people here. Lucas Perry in goal, Jayden Bogle, Joe Rodon, Pascal Strauch and Gabriel Goodmanson make up the back four, as you would probably expect. Then you've got in the midfield, Ilya Gruev sat in behind Sean Longstaff and Anton Stack. Sean Longstaff, of course, making his Leeds United full debut against Newcastle. Then up front, Daniel James, Lucas Metcher and Wilfried Gnonto. On the bench for Leeds, Darlow, Calvert-Lewin, Piru, Aronson, Biol, Okafor, Harrison, Bornau and James Justin. Newcastle lineup is as followed, of course, managed by Eddie Howe. Looks to me as if it's going to be a 3-4-3 formation. Nick Pope, of course, is the man between the sticks. Then it looks like a back three of Fabian Schär, Sven Botman and Dan Burn, with a in the midfield / wing backs on either side, Kieran Trippier and Tino Livramento, and then the two central midfielders, Bruno Guimaraes and Sandro Tonali. Then out on the left and right hand side is Jacob Murphy and Jacob Ramsey, the two Jacobs, and up front Will Osula, the youngster for Newcastle. A bench for Newcastle made up of Ramsdale, Hall, Lascelles, Barnes, Tior, Kraft, Elanga, Willock and Miley as well. Leeds United just having their little huddle in here. I am nervous as well. Honestly, a 1-1 draw out of this game, so we get to see Leeds score a goal, would be excellent. It really would. We've got to use home form to our advantage. We really do. Yeah, we've got to. We're going to be reliant on Lucas Metcher's movement today to try and open gaps for other Leeds United players to get through on goal. And of course, like CB has said there, if a goal goes in at any point in this game for either side, please do not tell me until I've reacted to it. Just until I've reacted to it, if you are ahead of me. So, yeah. There's going to be a moment's applause. I think it's just a round of applause for any Leeds supporters that have died within the last 12 months. Because I think the first one was... I think the first one on the first game of the season was for Diogo Jota and Andre Silva, and then this one is for all Leeds fans who have passed away over the last 12 months. But yeah, I'm very, very nervous, to say the least, about this game. Very nervous. Come on, Leeds. Let's get a victory, or at least a draw. Welcome everybody who's joining us. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that sub button down below. That would massively help me out. We're on to the next goal now that we've hit 10k. And of course, as well, make sure you check out my Etsy prints in the description down below. The Champions Again Ole Ole prints are on sale at the moment. And if you are a Leeds Lately member, you do get an extra 10% off those prints. So wall art for your house, designed by me. So if you want to support me as a YouTuber and as a graphic designer, then that would massively help me out. We are just seeing the little huddles now on the pitch, and we will be kicking off very, very soon. Right, we are not long now. Lucas Mecha goes over to take the kickoff. I'm very nervous now. Let's get going in just 1 second. Goalkeeper's being checked by the referee. And he puts his whistle to his mouth. And we are underway. Here's Ilya Gruev. Now Pascal Struijk across to Joe Rodon. Newcastle seem to be pressing quite high early on. Longstaff with a little ball around the corner, cut out by Dan Burn. But his cut out has taken it all the way out for a Lucas Perry goal kick. Those of you who don't know, Ramazani last night got a really late assist for Valencia, and Isaac Schmidt scored today for Werder Bremen. So that's one thing that's happened recently. Anyway. Long ball forward here from Lucas Perry, as probably expected. Stack wins the header, but it does go out for a Newcastle throw-in over by the family stand. Ball back with Shah now. Here's Botman. Back to Shah. Shah with a little ball down the line here for Trippier. Trippier tries to play a ball all the way down the line there for Murphy, but it's actually... Ramsey, I think, but it was cut out there by Goodmanson. Now... here's Fabian Schär, and he's going to have to chip that one towards the halfway line. Headed away by Struijk. Mecha with a good little bit of hold-up play as he drops it back off to Jayden Bogle now. Here's Bogle with a little bit of space to play the ball out wide to Dan James. Bit of movement ahead of him, and Dan James's cross cut out there by Jacob Ramsey, and it's going to be a throw-in to Leeds. Here's Gruev. Now Struijk. Here's Rodon. Gruev. Back to Rodon, and Rodon plays that one all the way back to Perry. Perry with a little chipped ball out wide to Stack, but it's gone over his head, and as we've continued to see a few little issues from his distribution, Lucas Perry and now Newcastle have a throw-in. They throw it back to the halfway line here for Shah, now Botman. Leeds have got to get something out of this game. If we get a draw, I'll be very, very happy. I'll tell you that now. It's Livramento with the throw-in then, right between the two technical areas, right on the halfway line. And he throws it backwards to Dan Burn. Now Botman. Who did they sign Botman from? It was from someone in Germany, wasn't it? Just can't remember who. That's a long ball forward there from Newcastle has been cut out by Leeds, and Joe Rodon can just throw that one back to Lucas Perry. Lucas Perry with a long ball forward. Dan James is never going to win that header against Dan Burn. Mecha with a good touch and turn there, but given away in the end by Gruev. Not sure he knew much about it, though. Here's Trippier coming forward over on the right-hand side. He's going to look to cut the ball back here to Ramsey. Ramsey with a little ball into Tonali, who tried to flick it around the corner for Osula, but it just rolls straight through to Perry. I think because he was free, Hank, that tends to be a little bit of a stick to beat someone with. Good little header there by Mecha, and now Nonto's got a bit of space down the right-hand side. Mecha can't quite take it with him, and his kind of backwards flick ends up going to Livramento in the end. Here's Livramento down the left-hand side. Oh, Leeds have had a bit of a mess up here, and now ball into the box. It's gone right through everyone. Leeds need to get back here and stop this. Ball back in across the box, headed away by Joe Rodon, and a foul there by Will Osula, and it's going to be a Leeds United free kick in our own box. Little bit of a miscommunication there between Rodon and Bogle. In fact, no, it wasn't. It was just Rodon not being. He committed, and he should have just kind of held off there. I can see that you're there, Michael. I can see, I can see that your comments are coming up. It's just that, especially in a stream like this where we're kind of talking about the football, don't think you've particularly asked me any questions or anything. But yeah, I can see your comments. Here is Nick Pope. Someone Leeds were linked with in the summer when Newcastle thought they were going to be able to get James Trafford. Then James Trafford went to Man City, and then Man City was supposedly looking at Donnarumma as well, so that must have been a bit of a kick in the teeth for both Newcastle and James Trafford himself, but still Nick Pope holds the back line for Newcastle. Here's Goodmanson with a little ball over the top towards Nonto. I think it is going to end up being cleared there by Shah, but now it's going to be a Leeds throw-in. Gabriel Goodmanson picks it up. Oh, from Leo Botman, did he? Here's Joe Rodon. Back to Pascal Struijk. Oh, Struijk dispossessed there, and that could have been dangerous. Rodon's going to have to do something with it here, and he gives it to Bogle. Bogle does well there to get the ball back to Perry. I'm not sure then, Michael. Maybe it's... I think there's a setting where you can have disappearing comments, maybe. Maybe they've got that turned on. Here's Anton Stack. Tries to put the ball across the box. Metcha can't quite get on the end of it, but it was a good idea, and Leeds keep the possession going here. Here's Goodmanson. Oh, doesn't quite go to Nonto, and it could have ended up with a Leeds player there, but doesn't quite. Here's Newcastle playing a dangerous game, kind of playing it around in their own box there. The Leeds fans want the players to press, but they're sitting off a little bit, and now they're trying to come forward. Here's Jacob Ramsey. Tries to play it forward to Osula, cut out well by Joe Rodon. Good ball into Stack, now Metcha. Back to Dan James. Good little bit of football this Leeds. Ball to Stack on the edge. Anton Stack goes for a shot. It's blocked there well by Botman. Or Shah, actually, it was. Here's Goodmanson. Sorry, not Goodmanson. Longstaff. And now Bogle. Don't know why I said Goodmanson. So far they're on the opposite side. I think a 1-1 maybe is my score prediction. Longstaff. Now Dan James. Dan James feels he was fouled there, and he does get the foul from Tino Livramento as he kind of chops him down from behind. It's going to be a free kick to Leeds in a position where we can definitely get the ball in the box. I'd say it's been pretty even, Ruggy, to be fair. They've had a couple of chances from a few little defensive errors from Leeds, but Leeds have also created some good opportunities, not necessarily scoring chances, but could progress the ball well. Anton Stack then is going to be the set piece taker here. Stack then getting ready to deliver this one. Stack's gone for a shot. He tried a Gruev, essentially. He saw that the goalkeeper was way off his line over to the opposite side, and he tried to catch him off guard, but yeah, not quite good enough, not quite accurate enough, and not quite powerful enough from Stack there. Don't hate the idea. Well, Nick Voltemade, the new Newcastle record striker signing, is in the stands watching this one. I think he's with his mum and dad, to be fair. Bless him. I think he's only 20, so Metcha tries to play that one over his head rather acrobatically to Dan James, but ends up hitting it probably into the bollocks of Botman. That's a good ball over the top there from Newcastle, but Perry's alive to it and comes out and claims it. Yeah, I don't know, Andy, to be fair, on the Gus Hamer thing. Like, we all kind of thought that was going to happen, and then it just kind of fizzled out, didn't it? And he's just played today, so... Here's Struijk. Now Goodmanson. Good little bit of a take on there, and he's got space to stride into here, Goodmanson. Plays it out wide to Nonto. He's done fantastically well, Goodmanson, to progress us up the pitch. Now Stack. That's going to be dispossessed there by Botman, though. Good bit of play by Leeds, especially by Goodmanson, but it's been defended well. Here's Bruno Guimaraes trying to charge forward and play a ball out to the left-hand side, but Jayden Bogle is challenging for it here with Livramento. He's done enough to force him to go backwards there to Dan Burns, so that's good defending by Jayden Bogle there. Here's Botman. Now Share. Forward here to Murphy as he tries to charge forwards. Great tackle there by Sean Longstaff. Nonto back to Longstaff here. Now Rodon. Bogle. It is chucking it down, White Swan. It looks like it's proper hammering it down at Elland Road. It's a great tackle from Longstaff. Really was. Now Leeds have the ball back. Here's Gruev. Across to Pascal Strauch. Hi, Chewy. Welcome. Here's Goodmanson. Plays that one back to Strauch. Here's Lucas Perry now with the ball again. Again, a little chipped ball forward towards Lucas Metcher, but it's just over his head. But it was a poor header away by Botman as it went straight to Nonto, but Nonto's touch is a bit heavy, and then a tackle from Share sends it out for a Leeds throw-in. Referee is just talking about something, I'm not sure what. Oh, apparently one of his assistants is he's having communications problems with his little headset, so that's why he's having to tell the captains. So it means that you can't talk to the referee. You'd have to go over to him maybe, I don't know, but I'm not sure why you need to stop the game for that. And look, Jackie Harrison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin very pally on the bench because, of course, they both played for Everton last season. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Calvert-Lewin who comes off the bench in this game and not Piru. Our bench, see I kept a tab open just for this reason, Ruggy. Our bench is Darlow, James Justin, Sebastian Bornau, Yacobiol, Noah Okafor, Jack Harrison, Brendan Aronson, Joel Piru, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Hopefully I don't have to say Dominic Calvert-Lewin, what you Calvert doing tonight like I did the other night when he kept missing those chances. Why are we still having a hold-up? Don't know, Michael. We don't know on that one. He played today, didn't he? So not sure whether he's whether it's off or don't know. Aaron Ramsdale's just biting his fingernails on the bench, and you can just see him doing it. So the linesman's just come back out of the tunnel with a working headset, I think. So we can carry on with the game now, apparently. Good 3 or 4 minutes there, maybe. Tell you what, though, I bet that disrupts Leeds' momentum and we don't do as well now. That would be just our luck. But then, to be fair, it's on us whether we do well or not. Apparently, Metch has just been pulled up there. I'm not sure why. Being a bit too physical with Dan Burn, maybe? I don't know, but... Here is Sandro Tonali. Now Murphy. Into Ramsey. Share. Little ball around the corner from Ramsey. Trippier tried to play it down the line there, but Goodmanson did cut it out. Here's Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär again across now to Botman, being closed down by Metcher. Passed out wide to Dan Burn, and then good challenge there from Sean Longstaff, and Leeds have got a break on here. Oh, Stack, you've absolutely... Stack, come on, man. That was a really good chance. Bruno Guimaraes got caught on the ball there, really, by the running that Sean Longstaff does is something that you'll be impressed with, I think. Like, it's not pointless running, it's like really tracking his man closely and then coming up with a flying, sliding challenge on Guimaraes. Ball goes to Metcher, then into Stack, and Dan James had a run on, but Stack's ball just went flying into touch. It was too hard. I don't know, Andy. I think I'll probably do a live stream for it, potentially, on Monday night. Here's Lucas Perry. Cleared. Up to the halfway line. Metcher feels like he was being held the whole time there by Botman, but nothing given by the ref, as kind of expected. Ball down the line there, and Gruev is chasing back in the right back roll. Ball across the box. It's gone to Ursula, and then cleared by Gabriel Goodmanson after a good block by Leeds. Wow, that was a close one. Leeds have got to be careful in those counter-attack situations. It's a really good turn by Livramento, and he just plays the ball down the line to Ramsey. Gruev just can't quite get anything on it before it comes into the box, and then good save. It was a good block by Gabby Goodmanson, and then a clearance by Goodmanson as well. So he got himself in a really good position to block that there, stop it going in the corner. I think we're playing well, Isaac, as well as you could have expected against someone like Newcastle. God, they've got some tall players. Dan Burn is huge, even compared to Gabriel Goodmanson, who is like nearly 6 foot. Ball comes into the box from a corner. Perry comes and catches it. That's what you want to see from a goalkeeper. What a throw that is, out towards Nonto. Can Nonto get there? He can't quite get there ahead of Livramento. Really good throw by Perry, though, to try and set Nonto off. Yeah, apparently Leeds are back in for Spertian. And I'm not sure whether... We've been interested in for like a year now, haven't we? So it'll be interesting to see whether we actually get anything done on that front, because in terms of kind of somebody who can play number 10 or play out wide and cut inside and play good progressive passes and be a creative midfielder, yeah, I'd like him. Here's Fabian Schär. Now Sean Longstaff. Again, a good positioning on that one from him to cut the ball out. Joe Rodon drops deep to receive the ball, not win it. And now into Dan James. Little flick around the corner towards Metcher. Doesn't quite get to him, but the idea is there. Sean Longstaff again picks it up from being in the right place at the right time. He's having a good game, Sean Longstaff, so far. Do you expect that he'd probably raise his game against Newcastle? Again, long ball forward there. Metcher can't really do much with that. Ball up in the air there from Stack. Come on. Stack just won the ball there off Tonali, and it's been given as a free kick. Don't think there's much in that. Longstaff just... Stack just goes for the ball. Trippier then with a free kick from just inside the Newcastle half. Long ball forward, floating towards the Leeds box. Headed all the way through, and it's going to be picked up there by Lucas Perry. Perry with a throw out to Gabriel Goodmanson. Now Strauch. All the way back to Perry. I don't think I've seen Perry play one short pass, you know. He just doesn't want to make that mistake, does he? Oh, Longstaff can't quite get there ahead of... I think Leeds have got an advantage here. Here's Dan James down the right-hand side. He's got Bogle with him this time. Dan James with a good ball into the box. It's just been headed away by Botman. Really good idea from Dan James to just whip it in early. And then Gruev wins that tackle, and it's been stopped there as Jacob Ramsey is down here still. Honestly, if anything, that was a foul on Longstaff. Jacob Ramsey's hurt himself, but it was a foul on Longstaff, if anything. That's why Leeds got the advantage. Yeah, it looks like maybe Longstaff landed in the back of Ramsey's calf with his knee, which would be a big dead leg. Wow, Tony. Just read those comments. Jesus. Ramsey's still down here then. Leeds are playing on a scale of Everton to Arsenal. Leeds are definitely playing at the Everton end of the scale. I'll say that. I think that he might bring on Piru in this game. He did mention that, DCL in this game. And I think that Piru, he said maybe picked up a little bit of a knock. So it probably would be Dominic Calvert-Lewin in this one, even though Piru still makes the bench. But as it stands, 0-0 after 20 minutes. Having said that, probably about 5 minutes of the 20 minutes has been stopped for the referee the linesman to get a new headset and for the injury to Ramsey. Daniel Farker's having a right go at Jayden Bogle here. Not sure exactly what he wants from him. Metcha can win that one back though. Here's Bogle with the ball. Bogle with a little chipped ball through to Dan James, but it just bounces through to Nick Pope before Dan James has any chance to get there. Yeah, so far for me, first 20 minutes, best players for Leeds have been Sean Longstaff and maybe Gabby Goodmanson as well. Guimaraes with a long ball forward there, but Leeds picked that one up through Joe Rodon. It was a really nice attempt there with an outside of the foot pass there from Bruno Guimaraes. Longstaff's been really good, John. He's been really putting himself about. He does so well, Metcha, there, to get the ball to Dan James. What are you doing, man? To get the ball to Dan James, who just boots it straight back to Trippier. Ball down the left, down the right-hand side, down Leeds' left here as Goodmanson tries to get there ahead of Jacob Murphy. Ball into the box is blocked by Goodmanson, and it's going to be a corner to Newcastle. So corner for Newcastle here, which is always a little bit worrying when they have Fabian Schär, Sven Botman and Dan Burn that can all come up for them. But Leeds have got Metcha, Strauch, Rodon, Stack. I don't know what Farker was saying to Bogle, to be fair. I thought Bogle's been doing quite well. But actually, no, there's been a few times where he's been a bit out of position, to be fair. Ball into the box, headed away by Strauch well. And Nonto can get on the end of that, ahead of Bruno Guimaraes. Here's Nonto. Plays it into Gruev. Gruev with a great ball back down the line for Nonto here. Nonto with space and time to run towards the box. He tries to cross it in! Metcha just can't quite get there ahead of the defender, and it bounces through there to Nick Pope. But that's the damage that we can do when we counter-attack, because they'll only have 3 at the back. Metcha, if he'd have just got a touch, might have been able to flick that in the bottom corner. He's close. He's probably a football's width away, or a football's diameter away from getting on the end of it. Grove with a good sliding tackle there. Here's Fabian Schär. Now, I've not been to a game in a while, but I hope Leeds fans have stopped absolutely screaming at the players when they're not gegenpressing, because they don't have to gegenpress all the time. They don't have to be full-on Bielsa pressing every moment of every game. Sometimes you do have to sit in a bit of a block in the midfield to try and then win the ball back. It's just that we're used to the high-pressing game. Longstaff tries to play a ball forward there to Dan James, but cut out there, and Dan Burn gives it into Tonali. Now out wide on the left to Livramento. Bruno Guimaraes now with the ball in the midfield as Longstaff tries to chase him down and force him to go backwards. Ball crossed into the box by Murphy, headed away by Bogle, but picked up on the edge by Tonali. Now Bruno Guimaraes. Good ball across the box there. Bogle does really well there to just be calm with that one as he clears it away. But it's straight back at us here through Dan Burn. Now Livramento. Dan Burn on the overlap. Now Botman. Share. Few little scares for Leeds here. Need to be careful that we don't concede. Gruev just chasing that one down as they're forced to go back, but Leeds might be able to climb up the pitch a little bit here. Here's Tonali. Now Botman. Here's Tonali again. Now Livramento out on the left. Livramento going down the wing here. Trying to cross the ball into the box, but Jayden Bogle has done really well to just shield that one out for a goal kick. Done really well there, Bogle, against Livramento. Livramento tries to go past him and he just muscles him off it just to get Leeds a goal kick. Yeah. I mean, there's a potential it could have been a corner kick there, but either way, Bogle defended it well. It's down to the referee after that point, isn't it? Here's Metcher with another really good bit of hold-up play, getting the ball to Dan James. Dan James back into Metcher. Metcher feels like he was fouled from behind there. Nothing given by the referee, though, as you would expect. I'll have to say that every time. Here's Ramsey coming forward. Ball into Murphy. Murphy's luckily got past Joe Rodon. Ball into the box. Goes through everyone there. Gabriel Goodmanson, good tackle on Trippier. He does really well with his hold-up play, Metcher, you know. He's done it a couple of times. Let's have a look at this from Botman on Metcher. I think he trips Metcher. I think he trips there, Metcher, to give a kind of fair view on things. It's not a foul. Trippier with a throw-in that a lot of Leeds fans thought was a foul throw-in, headed away by Strauch, but only as far as the edge, then blocked away by Metcher, headed back in by Bruno, then a foul on Joe Rodon by Dan Burn, and it's going to be a Leeds free kick just inside our own box. Opening nearly half an hour, very happy with what I've seen from Leeds. Few little mistakes here and there, but it's to be expected. I wish Leeds had a kit with the Adidas trefoil badge. Here's Nonto. Now Goodmanson and Strauch. Back to Goodmanson. Into Gruev. Nonto straight into touch there. Sometimes you've got to try and hit Metcher in those situations where you are being pressed. When it comes back to Goodmanson, just dink it over towards Metcher and see what you can do with it, rather than trying to play intricate football when you are being pressed. When you're not being pressed too much, it's not the end of the world, but yeah, in certain situations, you've got to try and bypass that press. But Guimaraes fluffs his lines there and misses the ball, and now Leeds are coming forward. Poor pass there by Metcher to Nonto, and Nonto can just keep it in and give it to Goodmanson. So Leeds still have the ball here, but again, just that clarity of that final pass, just making sure it's right, can really kind of slow you down and ruin your attacking momentum. Here's Dan James. Good ball into Stack there from Dan James, but Stack intercepted by Tonali. Tonali with a free kick now because Stack had pulled his shirt there. Here is Tonali again. Across to Botman. Shots on target, fewest after first two Premier League games. Leeds, 4 shots on target. Everton, 4. Wolves, 4. That's that's a little bit of a worrying sign. Everton scored 3 goals today, so that makes a difference. But Bogle, forward to Metcher, now dropped off to Longstaff. Longstaff still coming forward here. He's going to have to turn back and play that back into Rodon, though. Strauch now. Yeah, it's just about having that bit of quality to not have to take a poor touch. Here's Bogle. Longstaff. Just has the awareness there to poke that ball away from Osula as he comes towards him, and now Rodon with it. Hi, Mr. P. Welcome to the chat, mate. Here is Goodmanson, Strauch. Now Longstaff back to Gruev again. Gruev having a better game, I must say. Now Bogle. Bogle with a little lofted ball forwards. It was for Dan James, but it's actually going to go out for a Newcastle throw-in right by their corner flag. If that was a rugby kick and you were going for a line-out, top tier, right in the corner and pushes them back a bit, but it's not, so... Yeah, poor first touch or poor final ball is what I'll say. Osula bodies Joe Rodon there, but Goodmanson does come back and help him out. Here's Perry. He's looking for Metcher again. It's a valid attempt or a valid idea to keep going up to Metcher because he will win balls up there. Bogle's doing really well there, driving forwards. And eventually tackled there, not a foul. He should have played that ball earlier to Nonto. Get back now, Bogle. Dan James doing his best to help you out by pressing Newcastle and forcing them to go backwards. Well, Ramazani is still a Leeds United player, even if he's gone on loan, so there's always the chance that we could, if he's having a really good season, we could recall him and put him in the side, but I just can't imagine it. Not that he would have a good season, that Farker would recall him. His share. Stack with a great challenge there. Oh, it's been given as a foul. It's been given as a foul against Anton Stack. I thought it was a good tackle. He just needs to play that final pass there, Bogle. I think he's just a bit indecisive, and he doesn't know that Bruno's coming for him from behind. That's what I was talking about the other day, Andy, with yesterday with the transfers live stream, basically saying that if we could get somebody like Gustavo Hamer and he does a job in that number 8 role instead of Tanaka, so it gives you options there. At the moment, our options, probably Brendan Aronson, which he's not a number 8 really. He's not got the physicality to do it. Here's Gruev. Goodmanson. Now Strauch. Leeds kept the ball well there under a bit of pressure. Rodon. Back to Strauch. Strauch with a little clipped ball forward there to Nonto. Nonto's in a bit of space here. If he can get a ball in the box, he's waited though. Now Metcher. Oh, Metcher's ball back to Longstaff just goes past him there. Good tackle though by Longstaff and he's won it back. Now Anton Stack goes to shoot with his left foot. Shot just past the post. Not a great effort in the end, but... yeah, it's a good idea, Clive, and this is the thing, right? If they're playing 3 at the back, there's always a chance that Nonto can get in behind Trippier if Trippier's a bit too high and get down the wing. Good idea from Leeds, but yeah, it just wasn't quite right in the end. Stack, his shot was just very tame and just kind of bounced wide, but it's promising that we're kind of getting forward like that. Our ball progression has been really good. Again, to give the ball away there, and now Nonto has it on the edge. Nonto gets it to Longstaff again. Longstaff to Bogle. Bogle back to Longstaff. Not enough movement ahead of the midfield players in that box. Here's Bogle with a little poked ball. It's not a bad one. It's probably a foul there, but Metcher here is still going. Gets the ball to Goodmanson. Goodmanson, ball across the box! Dan James can't quite turn it towards goal there at the last moment. But again, really good play from Leeds. Great ball from Goodmanson, by the way. Fantastic ball. Metcher does really well. And Goodmanson, what a ball that is across the box. He just can't quite... He's just there a little bit too late to the party, Dan James. It's a fantastic ball, but it's ahead of Bogle, and Dan James just can't quite steer it in. Tell you what, though, fantastic from Goodmanson. I'm really, really enjoying what I'm seeing from Gabriel Goodmanson. He's one of the signings of the season for me. Good tackle there from Dan James on Jacob Ramsey. Now Metcher drops back off to Bogle, and Leeds have the ball back again. Longstaff. Longstaff goes back to Perry, which is probably the right thing to do, and then Perry clears up towards Nonto, who can't quite get on that one as Trippier heads it back to Cher. Bogle does well to clear it. Stack tries to flick that one down the line for Dan James, but picked up by Dan Burn instead, his namesake. Now Stack, Longstaff. Longstaff with a great ball down the line for Dan James there. Pope is going to be able to clear that one out with his shin and then slip over and then fall into Dan James. That was a real strange moment there as Nick Pope nearly slipped over a couple of times. I think Nick Pope just got himself a yellow card, you know. Perhaps for running into Dan James maybe a little bit there with his foot up. Bit of an odd one. Don't know what that was, really. Let's see it again. So the ball's bouncing out. Cleared by Nick Pope. Slips over a little bit, then gets up and then kind of... I don't really know what he got a yellow card for. Perry then. Long ball forward. Away by Cher. Now Longstaff to Gruev. Back to Longstaff again. Little flicked ball towards Metcher. Metcher does well there to get the ball to Gruev. Don't think he meant to, but now Metcher again. Oh, Metcher's turned away from the attacking intent there. Now Longstaff. Should have gone the other way, but now bit of space for Goodmanson maybe out on the left-hand side. I've got to say, I think a lot of Nonto's good performances have been attributable to having Gabriel Goodmanson behind him. Or a lot of the good stuff he does, because there's not been that many performances this far this season of any kind. Foul there by Botman on Metcher, proving himself to be a bit of a handful. Oh, it might have been, yeah. It might have been Chewy. Now Goodmanson. Nonto now. I've got to say, Metcher has been a level above what we've seen from Peru this season so far. Here's Nonto. Cutting inside. Nonto goes to shoot. Deflected past the post. It's going to be a Leeds United corner kick. It's going to be a corner kick. Yeah, hits Spotman. Corner kick to Leeds then. Chance for us to get the ball in the box. A few players that could get on the end of this. Obviously, we had that Pascal Stroke header against Arsenal that could have gone in and changed the game a little bit, but... Cross into the box from the corner. It's gone away, though, and Dan James is going to be able to pick it up on the opposite side. Chance for him to maybe cross the ball in, but Tonali is coming out to stop him. Dan James gets his ball across the box. Does go past everyone, but picked up there by Anton Stack on the opposite side. It's like we're playing just to try and get the ball across the box, but then Nonto's shot blocked on the edge. Nonto there, adjudged to have fouled the Newcastle winger, and it's going to be a Leeds United. It's going to be a yellow card for Nonto there for that challenge, as he was trying to stop the counter attack. Let me have a look. So as he goes away, it's Osula there as he tries to charge away. Doesn't quite get the ball there, Nonto. Anyway, enough replays of Farker in slow motion going, got the ball. Yeah, Elland Road will be a massive part of what happens this season. Yeah, to be fair, Chewy, they probably would have done one. They probably would have just beat us anyway, even if Strouk had us scored. But it might have made it a closer game because Leeds might have sat in a little bit then. And here's Livramento, Tonali, back to Byrne. Byrne with a long ball forward here. Osula does well there. Osula gets the ball across to Guimaraes. Now Jacob Murphy out wide here to Trippier, who plays it back inside to Guimaraes. Long switch out wide, though, to Livramento. Tonali. Guimaraes again. Now Tonali. I would say that we've had a lot of joy down the wings in this game. Ball down the line for them to cross into the box. It goes over everyone, but then Murphy at the back post was offside, and also his attempt to direct the ball goalwards goes out for a throw on the opposite side. I think the ball actually went out of play. It's not offside. It went out of play when he tried to put it back across the box. Well, in this game, Leeds have had 7 shots. Newcastle have had 3 shots. Neither team have had any on target. Leeds 10 touches in the opposition box. Newcastle 8 touches in the opposition box, and 48% possession to Leeds, 52% possession to Newcastle. So it's fairly well contested, even game. If we were ever gonna play Newcastle, now would be the time to do it. No Isak, no Voltemada, who's just signed, a couple of other injuries. Nonto's pass there was poor, and now Newcastle win the ball back. Here's Cher, who spreads the ball out wide to Livramento. It's a very good ball, but Dan James is trying to get back to help out here. Back into Guimaraes. I was trying to think of who the other midfielder that was out for Newcastle, but it's Joe Linton. It's a big part of the way that they win the ball back, and his physicality and strength and something to hit in there, and that is a big miss for them. Here's Murphy. Good shot by Murphy there. Good power on it, but saved by Perry, and it's going to be a corner kick to Newcastle. Really good pass from Tonali, and then Trippier just plays it inside to Murphy, who just has a strike at it. Decent strike on it, but and Perry perhaps thought it was going the other way, but does save it in the end. Ball comes into the box, headed away by Metcher. Now Tonali, potential of a handball there, but nothing given. Here's Jacob Ramsey. Now Bruno Guimaraes. Good ball there to Cher in the box. Fabian Cher tries to chip it over onto the top of the net there, and it's going to be a Leeds goal kick. Oh, it's a deflection, that's why. It was supposed to be a cross, and it was a deflection from Bogle that made it look like it was a chip, and it landed on top of the roof of the net, so it's another corner to Newcastle here. Why is ball into the box, headed away by Metcher again at the front post. Ball out wide to Tonali, who tries to cross it in, blocked again by Metcher. He's having a really good game, Lucas Metcher, I must say. He's now defending over at left back. Yeah, final minute of normal time. I'd imagine there's going to be a bit added on to this. Don't know how much. I'll let you know. It'll come up on the screen for you as well. Here's Tonali playing that one back to Botman. Now Tonali again. Botman. Out wide here to Trippier. Inside to Guimaraes. Now Tonali. Back again to Cher. Tonali again here. Bruno Guimaraes turns on it. Looks to play forward here. Here's Jacob Ramsey. Ball out wide to Livramento. Livramento looking for a chance to get the ball in the box here. Leeds needs to weather this storm just before half-time. Here's Tonali. Across now to the place where Cher's got space and he puts it over the bar. Four minutes added on then to this first half, everyone. 4 minutes added on to this first half. He's not even in the squad, Tom. He's not. I don't think he's even going to be he's not going to be registered as a Leeds player this season. So it looks like he's on his way out somewhere. Perry then with his long goal kick up towards Nonto, who's never going to be winning that against Cher. Even Trippier beats him to the header, and he's the size and head shape of Stewie Griffin. Here is Lucas Mecha. Now Gruev plays that one out wide to Bogle. It's not. Bogle's just about going to keep that one in. Perry clears that one as Bogle plays it back to him. Mecha trying to hold the ball up. Stack. A little bit of a loose one, but Nonto manages to play it back to Goodmanson, and Leeds do maintain possession here. So we are adapting this season, because we would never be playing long ball last season. And playing long ball isn't necessarily that you can still play some nice football, but it's just when you need to, you play those long balls forward into Mecha and he can hold the ball up for you. And I'm not against that. Good header there by Gruev as Stack charges forward. Leeds with a chance here just before the end of the half. Here's Dan James up against Dan Burn. James, left foot across the box. Goes over Nonto, and Nonto's going to have to go and get it on the other side. Gabby Goodmanson now. Now Nonto. Stack. Nonto again. Nonto. Possibly the worst cross I've ever seen. And he looks at it as it bounces out. He meant to play it in towards the back post, but really, really poor cross there from Nonto. Just killed the whole move. Pope then with the goal kick. Header there by Stack. Gruev with a two-arm push in the back. That probably should have been a free kick to Newcastle there, but we carry on. And then Nemecha throws himself to the ground as well, and we don't get anything, which we shouldn't do because Nemecha just flopped on the floor. But here's Tonali over on the right-hand side, looking to try and cross the ball in. Cleared by Pascal Strauch. Just about 1 minute left of this first half then as Dan James tries to come forward. Foul on Dan James by Fabian Cher. And Leeds are going to try and play it quickly. Here's Anton Stack. Out wide to Nonto. Dan James needs to get up and get involved in this attack here, and if it does hurt him. Here's Nonto. Now Gruev. Rodon. Dan James just getting back up now. It's almost as if Leeds are waiting for him to get back involved before playing forward. Yeah, 7 out of 10 for me is probably. I probably agree with you there, Michael. Here's Rodon. Now, ball forward from Bogle to Mecha. Mecha feels he was tripped there, but that's going to be half time then. It's been a very good half for Leeds. I will talk about it a little bit more in a second. I'm just going to go quickly fill my water bottle up, etc. But all signs are that that was a very, very good first half. I enjoyed that, and I think Leeds played very well. So half time, 0-0 in this one. I'll be back very, very shortly. Right. Hello, guys. It's not fun though, Dave. It's not fun to think like that. Like it makes you go, oh. Have faith. Have faith that it will be good. Toothless up front, but I'd say that we've made some very good chances. That ball that Goodmanson put across the box and a couple of shots from the edge of the box, like just need something to fall for us, and we get a goal in this one. I'm happy with what I've seen though. Do you know one of the most kind of one of the most important things that I've seen is the way that we progress in the ball against Arsenal. Every time we got the ball, it was like panic, don't know what to do. But we are able to get the ball up to Mecha or down the wings. We've got multiple different ways that we attack, and it's working, and we're creating chances and getting up into the final third. So I think that's very important to note as well. Watching from South Korea, not many Leeds fans here, so your videos are a huge help. Love your content. Thanks very much, mate. Really, really appreciate the support. No, it's all right, Dave. I know. It's like the existential dread, isn't it? It's like oh God, this is going to happen now. But like, just when that thought comes into your head, to be like, oh no, that's going to happen now. Just think, well, hold on a second, it might not, because Leeds have already. Well, actually, do you know what? I don't think there'd be much Leeds could do about it. And you know, one of the things I think is that they've only got two in central midfield. The fact that they've only got Bruno Guimaraes and Sandro Tonali in midfield, who are both, of course, very, very good players. But the fact that Leeds have got three in the midfield is meaning that they're getting outrun in those situations. So therefore, if they then go and to bring somebody else into that midfield three, which they don't really have anyone, and make it a three, then it might get a little bit more one-sided towards them. But I don't think they really have anyone to play there, which is probably why they've gone three at the back to try and be more solid, because they knew that they'd get attacked. Longstaff's playing very, very well. Longstaff's probably been Longstaff and Metcher, I think, have both been our most important players so far in this game. The amount of running that Longstaff's doing in the midfield to win the ball back, been very impressed with. And Metcher's hold-up play and his ability to back into those front men, then yeah, it's a great help. Stuart Dallas saying it's a game that's lacked any real quality. It's lacked quality in the final third, but I wouldn't say it's lacked quality in the rest of the pitch. Yeah, Okafor's an option as well, certainly. I think Okafor's one of the only ones who's nursing a little bit of an injury from the other game as well, in midweek. So, Mr. Pete with the £5 super chat, really appreciate that, Mr. Pete. Fingers crossed for a Leeds goal. Thanks so much, Mr. P. Really, really appreciate that. Of course, helps to keep the channel going, and it's massively, massively appreciated. TJ/Tim saying, agree with you there, Max. We've had some good attacking moments. Yeah, we haven't created anything massively clear cut, but we've had the ball in the final third a lot, which is a good positive sign. We're able to get the ball up to their final third, and it's just about getting that delivery right, getting that quality of delivery right, and Metcher will eventually get on the end of something, and if not, later on bringing it Dominic Calvert-Lewin on. Voltemada is not in the squad. He's in the stadium, but he's wearing a suit and he's sat up in the stands with his mum and dad. So I don't think he'll be coming on in the second half. If I'm right in saying, 1 second. Chow. Apparently it's Malik Chow. So Malik Chow... yeah, I thought so. Malik Chow is a centre-back, or can play right back, or is a defensive midfielder. So there's a potential there that he comes on and is part of that three. I thought he was just a centre-back, but he can play in the midfield as well. So Skip saying, a much better performance so far, lacking creativity, and our final ball is poor. Yeah, there's been a few moments where we definitely could have had better outcomes if our final ball was better or if our first touch was better. And in those moments, you've lost the ball, turned it over, and you start to think, well, you've got to try to take advantage of those moments and try and get the ball forward, and you can't afford to throw away attacks. I don't think we're lacking creativity too much. It's just that final ball and getting that, like the one that Goodmanson put across the box, unreal. And I genuinely think if you've got a striker like Demirovic, he scores that because he's in that position to get on the end of it. He's got the, like, when you think of ultimate strikers at the moment, you think of someone like Erling Haaland, and he's on the end of that every time because he knows that that's the exact ball that's going to come across if the ball is picked up in that position, and he's going to get there to the point where he can run onto it with his timing. I think the type of striker that scores that goal is Dominic Calvert-Lewin, or at least he's in the right place at the right time, even if it hits his calf and rolls wide from 2 yards out. but he gets himself into that position. That's players at the club that would. Players outside the club that we should sign, Demirovic gets on the end of that 9 times out of 10 and scores. So that's the difference between this, like the signings that we need to make and what we've currently got as well. The only thing is, Mr. P, they're sometimes probably a little bit scared to bring the ball out from the back, like you say. Rodon likes doing it, doesn't he? And it does catch the opposition out. But if we lose the ball in that situation and it comes straight back at us and you're one centre-back down, that's when you start to go, okay, yeah, they're probably going to score here. So they're probably very cautious not to do that in a game like this where it's tight, maybe. But if they see the gap, they might take it. Confidence will bring better first touch, confidence to find the right pass rather than the easiest pass. Yeah, sometimes the ball forward is what you need to play, and Leeds are like they turn all the way around. Like Mecha did it before. Mecha's been playing really well, but there was a moment where Mecha probably should have played the ball out to the wing, and in the end he kind of ended up turning all the way around and going back the other way and passing it to Gurev when he probably should have tried to. He probably should have tried to play the ball down the line. Newcastle press too high for the centre-backs to play out from the back. Yeah, there's certain games where you can do it, certain games where you can't, and Perry is not taking no chances. He likes to lump it right up to the halfway line and hope Mecha can deal with it. And to be fair, I think Mecha's been really, really good in that first half, dealing with it well. I think he really has. We look decent going forward, but I'm lost to why they keep passing it back and sideways. I think it's about risk and reward, isn't it, John, to be fair? I think in certain moments they'd like, if I play this ball as a potential, they pick it up and they counter-attack us, and even having that split second of doubt before you play a pass means that it's too late and they've moved into a position where you can't play it anymore, and then you have to go sideways and backwards. So I think it is a confidence thing. Somebody mentioned that before. Mr. P mentioned that before. It's about confidence. The fact that he's called Mr. P makes me think that it's like, I feel like I'm back at school again and I'm talking to one of my teachers and calling him Mr. P. Oh, Mr. P said this. Mr. P said that we could skip double geography. I don't want to see Scum and their celebrations after beating Burnley during a game where I'm watching Leeds United. Get out my face. I don't even want to see you. I don't even want to see Bruno Fernandes. Not when we're on the attack. Yeah, that's what I mean, though. They should have more confidence because of the way that they've been playing in that first half. They really should. Hi, Free Falling. Welcome to the stream. Good first half from Leeds. Then let's see if there's any kind of match statistics. Newcastle. That's who we're playing, isn't it? So far, Mecha has a 6.2, which. This is why you can't always trust SofaScore or any of those FOTMob or anything like that, because Lucas Mecha has a 6.2 rating. He's rated as the worst player on Leeds United's side, but his hold-up play isn't something that gets measured particularly. And I think he's been really good at that. Goodmanson on a 7.1, Rodon on a 7.3, Dan James on a 7.1. Longstaff on a 6.8, and again, Longstaff's probably been our best player in terms of winning the ball back and stuff, but it doesn't always get added to the number. Players' average positions, about even, really. Say that Leeds are slightly more defensive, but Botman's sitting very deep for Newcastle. Like, there's a chance that that makes a lot of sense, because when we played the ball over the top, do you remember when somebody said it's good pass from Strauch in that first half, and when Strauch chipped the ball over the top down the line for Nonto and it went behind Trippier, and there was space behind. That was because Botman was sitting deep, and Botman was playing him on side. So there's a potential to kind of take advantage of that. Heading back out onto the pitch now. Looks like there's been a substitution from Newcastle. Miley is coming on for who? So he is going to make changes at half time then. So it's Jacob Ramsey to come off. Is he 57, Miley? 67. Well, Lewis Miley comes on then for Newcastle, so the change there for them. Oh, he was injured, Jacob Ramsey. That's why he was injured. Leeds have gone 115 minutes now without an attempt on target, apparently. It was probably since that Strauch header. What is that? Newcastle's kickoff from then, they took the ball on the halfway line and they played a rugby kick right into the corner to try and pin Leeds back in. I've never seen that before. I've never seen that. That was odd, wasn't it? I've never seen that before, but it kind of makes sense that it would pin the opposition in, but it hasn't really worked out like that because, yeah, they've got the ball, but they've got the ball at the back where they had it to start with. Burn down the line here for Miley. Oh, sorry, that wasn't Miley, that was Livramento. Miley's in the centre of midfield, I think. See, I think they might have gone into a midfield three with Miley coming into there, which is what I said they might do, is come into the central midfield. Ball down the line there, but Strauch does well to give it back to Perry. Perry's going to first time clear that with his left boot up to Stack, who misses the header with no one around him. Switch back to Leeds. That's what everybody wants to see, isn't it? Burn dispossessed here. Here's Dan James. Dan James's pass to Jayden Bogle just wasn't right there. Bogle's gone down injured here after that tackle on. They're both holding their ankles, both apologising to each other, rolling around on the floor, Dan Burn and Jayden Bogle. Yeah, I think Bogle tries to jump out the way and then lands on Burn. Okay, Bart Backer. Well, Bogle gets up and runs back to his position then. It wasn't a foul by Dan Burn, it was a foul by Jayden Bogle because he jumped over Dan Burn and landed on Burn. Remember to like the stream as well, everybody, if you haven't liked the stream already. We all know that if we get 100 likes, that's when we score a goal. Don't know how many we're on at the moment, to be fair. I can check. 74, 101 people in here. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already. Here's Goodmanson. Now Nonto. Goodmanson again, and back to Strauch, and Strauch back to Perry. Perry with a ball up towards Metcher here. Perry's going to... Ooh. Challenge from Trippier on Metcher there. I think Trippier's going to get himself a yellow card. He did catch him there, Trippier. Oh, I think he stood right on his toe there, Trippier. Yeah, it's an accident. He stood right on his toe, though, and no wonder Metch has gone down, because they can really hurt. Right on your big toenail. Ooh, that'll bruise. Gruev with the free kick there. Plays that one back to Rodon, because there was no options ahead of him. Now Rodon. Into Dan James. Dan James with a little bit of space. Into Bogle, and then back down the line to Dan James. Can't quite keep it in. The idea was there from him and Bogle, though, to play that little bit of interplay to get down the line, but nothing comes of it in the end. When's our next game, then? Saturday the 13th of September. Yeah, so yeah, it's the international break, like, straight after this, isn't it? Here's Goodmanson. Gruev. Now Goodmanson. Ball down the line there is good from Goodmanson, is a good one. And now Nonto. Ball across here to Jaden Bogle. Bogle goes to shoot with his left over the bar. Gotta get your head over it, Bogle, lad. Yeah, Bogle just slices that and it flies over the bar. Yeah, 13th of September against Fulham, Karen. We've got an international break and then we've got that. But it's not even like the international break could have transfers in it or anything. Because the transfer window ends on Monday night. Here's Strauch. Now Joe Rodon. Strauch again. Goodmanson. Goodmanson down the line to Nonto. Lost out though, and now Botman has the ball. Dan Burn with the long ball down the line. Cut out there by Rodon. Bogle does just manage to keep it in there. It's going to be Leeds throw-in the end as it's tackled out there by Dan Burn. Bogle into Longstaff. Rodon. Perry with the long ball forward, ups towards Metcher. Dan Burn's going to go for that one. Burn and Metcher both fell over and it bounced through to Botman. Botman definitely playing as a bit of a sweeper in this game. That would be amazing, Goz, but don't know at this point. My hope is fading that we get those two. Potentially a handball there by Osula, but then a long ball forward to Livramento. Bogle trying to stop him. Dan James trying to help him out. Gives the ball back to Bruno Guimaraes. Now into Tonali. Tonali is going to nearly open up to chance to shoot, but then pass out to Trippier. Now Trippier into Miley. Back now again to Fabian Schär. Schär to Guimaraes. Now Schär back out wide again to Livramento. Headed away there. Now Schär. Now Trippier. Chance for Miley to cross. Miley's cross goes over everyone and is a Leeds goal kick. I think there's a little bit to that, Daz. A little bit of panic in the striking. I don't even know if it's panicking. I think it's not. I think the differentiation is here. We're not shooting from distance because we're panicking, but the shots that we're having from distance have a little bit of a in them, and they miss because of it. Especially that one from Bogle. He just kind of put it over the bar. Good save by Lucas Perry there. Jacob Murphy took a shot from distance towards goal there, and Lucas Perry, good save. Yeah, it did move towards that side. Perry needed to get a hand on it. Gets a good strong hand on it. Probably should have used his left hand there, but used his right. No, probably should have used his right hand there, but used his left to kind of come over the top. Regardless, he saved it, and it's going to be a corner kick now to Newcastle. Again, headed away by Metcher at the front post. He's doing really good at that. Not always, though, Mr. P. In the first half, the long clearances weren't really coming back at us because Metcher was doing really well, just leaning into the defenders and winning the ball in the air, whether that be with his head, his chest, his feet, and just managing to flick the ball to the wingers. Leeds trying to force a little bit of a mistake there from Trippier, but he does manage to get the ball out of his feet in time and play it back, and now Botman back in his own box there as Leeds try and force them back. Dan James gets a block on that, but very fortunately for Newcastle, it falls to Miley. Now Tonali with the ball out wide to Kieran Trippier. Trippier with a switch of play goes to Jayden Bogle, and Dan James can't quite get on it. Tries a silly little back heel, but yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of Okafor, you know. Trippier tries to put that one into the box. Oh my God, it nearly went through everyone. There was a block on it by Nonto in the first instance, and then Strauch, I think, either missed it or left it for Perry, and Perry had to just like shove it away like that. Yeah, the goalkeeper thought that Strauch was going to get a header on it. Yeah, Strauch just missed it, and then Perry had to just shove it away at the last second. Bit of an awkward one there, really. Perry then with a long ball forward. For me, Karen, at some point Calvert-Lewin, because I feel like he gets into the positions that like if we're going to put one really good ball across the box, I think I want Calvert-Lewin to be on to finish it, because he's the guy that will get in that situation. Then you've got to look at either Dan James or Nonto being taken off for Okafor, I think, is my other substitution. That's what I would be thinking at the moment. Throw in, though, to Leeds here out on the left-hand side. No, apparently not. It's a throw into Newcastle. Should have been a throw into Leeds. Don't know what the hell that decision was from the linesman. Here's Trippier. Cleared there by Cher. Now Goodmanson. Miley. Bruno Guimaraes. Miley again, back into Bruno Guimaraes. Great challenge there. And now Longstaff picks up the ball after the Gruev tackle on Bruno. Now Longstaff, back again to Dan James. Bogle. Slowed down a little bit, but Leeds still have the ball here. Now Gruev. Strauch. Gruev. Strauch again. Goodmanson. Oh, Goodmanson's just passed it straight to Trippier. Come on, think about it. Now Miley. Ball out to the left-hand side. A kick by Bogle there, and it was a free kick. I mean, I don't know why the Leeds fans are all getting up and going, what? He literally just kicked him. He literally just kicked him. He trips him up there, I think. Yeah, he just kicks him in the shin. Because he knows he gets there first. It's on purpose there by Bogle, I think. Not what I wanted to see. Brendan Aronson and Jack Harrison are being prepared to come on. If they score, fine. But to me, these substitutions, Not what this game needs. Chipped ball forward there from Trippier, but it was a foul there on Bruno Guimaraes. Yeah, Aronson and Harrison both coming on. Dan James coming off for Jack Harrison. So Harrison, to basically both wingers. And then Nonto for yeah, not the subs I would have gone for. Especially because now if Okafor probably doesn't get on the pitch. Good tackle there as the ball was played forward into the path of Metcher. Botman with a really good sliding challenge to send it out for a Leeds corner kick. Bogle with the ball it was. Just needed a bit more on it and Botman wouldn't have been able to get it. Looks like Harrison is probably going to take this corner kick, I imagine. Bit of movement in there. We've got a few tall players now. See who can get on the end of it. Jack Harrison with a cross into the box. Goalkeeper catches it. Rolled out by Nick Pope here towards Sandro Tonali. Longstaff does really well to take that off Tonali and give the ball back to Perry. Bogle and Asula are a little bit of a coming together there as they were trying to track back Bogle. Bogle ends up in a heap on the floor. Yeah, I think Bogle's just trying to block him off and falls over. I don't think there was much in it. A couple of substitutions for Newcastle then. Elanga has come on. Elanga is number 20. And Trippier came off as well for Lewis Hall, who's number 3. That's the Newcastle lineup now. Here's Metcher. Loses out there, though. Rodon plays that one straight to Bruno Guimaraes, and now a ball forward. Elanga dispossessed, though, by Gruev. And the ball goes all the way through to, I was going to say Meslier then, to Perry. It's been so long since I've not said Meslier. Here's Jack Harrison. Chips a little ball down the line for Anton Stack to chase, but Miley plays it all the way back to Nick Pope. Bruno Guimaraes. Ball forward there by Newcastle. Strauch in a bit of a foot race with Anthony Elanga, who we know is absolutely rapid. Elanga gets there first. Ball into the box. Good foot there by Joe Rodon. Really good challenge there. Now Goodmanson into Harrison. Back into Longstaff now. Now Gruev. $86 likes. A few more likes, guys. 14 more and we score a goal. It's just what the universe wants to happen. Here's Strauch. Now Rodon. Gruev. Now Strauch. Perry. Perry clears that one. Won back, though, by Longstaff. Now Goodmanson. Longstaff with good feet there. Harrison. Loses out to Miley and then tackles it out into a Newcastle throw-in. Livramento throws that one back all the way to Fabian Schär. Only because I had them in my last man standing, but other than that, I would never want them to win. Here's Gruev. Longstaff into Stack. Good little first-time ball. Now Stack with the ball out wide to Aronson, who can't take it under his control. I'm not sure what I don't think Aronson can be blamed for that. The ball from Stack was so hard. There was no need to send it that hard towards that area. He properly pinged it. Here's Gruev. Now Bogle. Stack tripped there by Bruno Guimaraes and then nothing given by the referee. Bruno plays that one all the way back to Pope. Foul by Longstaff on Bruno Guimaraes there. Underway again here. Here's Tonali. Strout pushed over there by Osula, who would have been through on goal probably, but he's just been pushed over. Yeah, he just shoves him in the back there, Osula. He probably didn't need to do it, to be honest. He probably could have just put pressure on Strout. Here's Lucas Perry then. Lucas Perry tries to hit his namesake Lucas Mecha as he knocks the ball forward there. Longstaff again wins the ball back for Leeds. Oh, come on. Botman's gone down with a leg injury that's not a head injury, so therefore, the thing is, Bart, you need Longstaff ahead of the holder because he does the running, he does the legwork for you. I think so. Metch is just backing off, and he steps on his toe, completely accidental, and then he just goes down. Botman holding his toes. It's not a foul, so why can't we just play on? Jamal Lascelles warming up. Noah Okafor warming up as well. I don't know, Bart, but this game has made me think that Gruev is more suited than the game against Arsenal, so we'll have to see. Harvey Barnes is coming on, which we know he always scores against Leeds, so let's try and break that curse today. Don't know who he's going to come on for, though, because they've replaced both their wingers. Although, so I don't know whether they're just playing Elanga and Osula as two up front, maybe. But Harvey Barnes is going to come on. Botman's off. Barnes is on, so it looks like they're going to a back four. So yeah, Botman's been taken off. It's going to be a back four of Hall and Livramento as fullbacks, and then Byrne and that other fella, Schär, as the two centre backs. We're underway again though here. Here's Bogle. Back to Gruev, who's dropped between the two centre backs at the moment. Now, Pascal Struijk. Yeah, as a backup, Gruev's really not a bad choice to have, is he? His stack. I think when we saw Anton Stack coming in, we thought of him very much as being a holding midfielder. Good ball from Anton Stack out wide to the right-hand side. I saw him very much as a holding midfielder, but he seems like Daniel Farke has bought him to be a box-to-box midfielder. Of course, he's got that capability to defend, but he's also wanting to go forward quite a lot. Here's Goodmanson. Tries to cross it in, but Elanga gets back there rapidly, and Leeds do get a corner kick, though. This is what I mean. If Mecha comes off, then I perhaps want to see a bit of Calvert-Lewin. Well, that's exactly what I just said, and it's exactly what's happening. That's weird. Leeds are... Or I'm a genius. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, then. Let's just mute that chat for 8 hours. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, then, is going up top for Leeds with a corner kick to come in the box. Could score with his first touch. Ball straight into the box. Dropped by Pope, but just manages to pick it up again, Pope. Yeah, and he seems to be playing as more of a box-to-box midfielder, Bart, and when he has been playing as a box-to-box midfielder, he's obviously got the physicality to be a little bit of a... he's got a little bit of a ability to be a defensive option as well when he needs to be, but he's going forward has been pretty good too. Here's Elanga. Elanga with a cross into the box, deflected off Sean Longstaff's chest. Now Hall from the edge of the box, over the bar there, and it's going to be a Leeds goal kick. Yeah, here's Elanga. He tries to play it across the box. It hits Longstaff's chest, then it just gets dropped off there to Hall, and he goes for it, just flashes it over the bar. I don't need to see that many. I don't need to see that many versions of it. Long ball comes forward then from Perry. Good little winner there by Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Jack Harrison to chase. Jack Harrison does win the ball there, but it's going to go out for a Newcastle goal kick in the end. Come on, Leeds. As Nick Voltemade. Did you say Bart is a serious fan? Did you say you live in Germany? What do you think of Nick Voltemade that Newcastle have signed then? Gruev. Longstaff wins that one, but the ball's popped up right in the air. How is that a foul? Oh no, offside. Dominic Calvert-Lewin running back from an offside position, apparently. That's why the free kick has been called. See, the thing is, we don't really play with a number 10. That's the problem. Now we're playing 4-3-3. You need to have your creativity come from your wingers or your central midfielders, which has the potential to bring in somebody like Hamer who could play in central midfield and be creative. But you need a bit of a jack of all trades to play in the midfield in that number 8 role if you want to create chances as well. You need somebody who's physical, strong, good at what they do defensively, but then also has the ability to play forward, good forward passes. Jack Harrison with a little chip ball towards Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He gets on the end of it, but his touch is just too heavy and takes it through to Nick Pope. Good little bit of link up there from Jack Harrison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but his touch just lets him down just a little bit there. Here's Anthony Elanga. Picked off that by Sean Longstaff. Just can't quite keep hold of it there, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, on that replay. Here's Calvert-Lewin. Does well. Goes to shoot from distance. Tell you what, it's not a bad strike, but I think the cameraman just headed that, by the way. The ball just flew out to the side and just went out the side of his camera, but doesn't mind taking a shot early, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Bloody hell, that was about 50 yards out. Decent quality of strike, but it just flies past the post. His share. Fair play, Bart, because they have Demirovic and Undav as well, don't they, Stuttgart? So there's always going to be a bit of a pecking order issue there. And Stuttgart have signed another striker, haven't they? So, I mean, if Leeds can get Demirovic, but then I think Stuttgart... what are Stuttgart's striker options? They've got Demirovic and Undav, and they've signed another striker. So would they be willing to let Demirovic go, basically? Like, are they in a position where they don't need to sign another striker if he goes out because it's very late in the window? Anyway, let's talk about the game. Ball forward towards Osula, cut out by Joe Rodon, and he's done well there because he's only took it out for a throw-in, not a corner kick. Potentially a long throw-in to come in the box here from Newcastle, by the way. Livramento is going to try and wang one in. Throws it in, headed away by Gruev. Back to Livramento. Back to Tonali, and Longstaff can try and force him to go back a little bit further here. Here's Hall. Bogle trying to win that one, but he's managed to get the ball into the feet of Harvey Barnes. Here's Bruno Guimaraes. 15 minutes to go here at Elland Road. Great challenge there by Jayden Bogle. Here's Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Gruev. Gruev, what are you doing? Just play back to the goalie if you need to. Strauch. Oh, Aronson's now... Stack has now lost the ball, and now Strauch, a little bit frustratedly, has just booted it at the shin of a Newcastle player, and it's gone out for a Leeds throw-in. Throw into Leeds then. It's going to be Gabby Goodmanson. Quickly throw it into Strauch. Now Goodmanson, who clears it long down the line. Calvert-Lewin tries to bring it down, and he goes back to Livramento in the end. But he's chasing that one down, Calvert-Lewin, as the ball gets played all the way back to Nick Pope now. Hall into Barnes as he comes deep and central. Picks the ball up in the centre circle, Barnes, and plays it out to the left-hand side for Guimaraes, who plays it again wide now to Lewis Hall out on the left wing. Tries to cross it in. Good block there from Aronson. Here's Guimaraes. Plays the ball out wide now to Elanga. Gets the ball back there nearly. And now Gruev can give it to Anton Stack, who can charge forwards a bit here. Stack just gives the ball away there. And now Tonali. Guimaraes there feels like he was fouled on the edge, but Leeds might be able to break here. Here comes Jack Harrison down the left-hand side. Chased by Tonali. Not given as a foul there. I think Jack Harrison went down very easily. Joe Rodon there just uses his strength there and manages to clear it out there. I think Osula it was, just went down there prematurely in the box. Is that neck tattoo new for Joe Rodon, by the way? I don't remember seeing it last season. 2 butterflies under his ear. Here's Elanga. Anton Stack with a great challenge. He tries to poke the ball forwards towards Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but he's picked off there. Harrison. Great turn there from Harrison, and he's just taken out there by Cher. It's probably going to be a yellow card to Cher. I've triple captained Haaland this week against Brighton because he scored, I think in his last 5 appearances against Brighton, he scored 5 goals. Yeah, Demirovic is the one that we want, or the one that I definitely want. He would be great for us. Just the way he arrives in the box, not late. He arrives in the box and finishes things off. He's always in the right place at the right time to finish things. James Justin then is getting ready to come on here because it looks like Goodmanson needs a bit of a rest. Do you think he's got cramp or something? So the first time we are going to see James Justin in a Leeds United shirt. He's coming on for Goodmanson on the left-hand side. Well, as long as it's the international break and Goodmanson's got a couple of weeks to recover, that's good, because it looks like it was just a little bit of a muscle strain. Well, James Justin, number 24, makes his Leeds United debut. Here's Strauch then. Leaves that one for Perry, this free kick. Yeah, Goodmanson, it seems like he's got a little bit of a pull. A little bit of a hamstring pull maybe. Or it's just tight. Yeah, Voltemada's a good striker, but it's just... And I'm glad he's not playing against us. I think Newcastle are saying that they need another striker as well as him. Yeah, the thing is about Justin is he can play right back and left back, and that's what I'm happy with about him. He's the sort of player who can play right back and left back, and he'll do a job there. He's decent. He's not the best defensively, but he's decent in the attacking phase of things, which is kind of what our fullbacks need to be. But yeah, here's Bruno Guimaraes. Now, Sandro Tonali. Livramento. Elanga. Drops that one off to Tonali again. Here's Miley. Tonali into the feet now of Bruno Guimaraes. Out wide here to Livramento. Again, Miley drops that one back off to Tonali. Now into Bruno Guimaraes. Miley. Justin gets a good foot in there, and Leeds are coming forward here through Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin down the left-hand side. He's looking for somebody to come and help him out. Jack Harrison's just about arriving now. In the end, that kind of played out. Good ball over the top towards Brendan Aronson there from Jack Harrison, but just over his head. Now Newcastle come up the left-hand side here. I would be so happy with a point from this game. We just got to keep it tight for the last 8 minutes. A point from this game, and I'll be ecstatic, honestly, because 4 points from these first 3 games is really, really good. You can't see Wolves or West Ham picking up any points anytime soon, to be fair, either. We've just got to be better than them two and one other team. But it could come down to it. Seems like we're probably not going to see Okafor in this one then. He was warming up before, but... Here's Guimaraes. Again, Gruev fast there to cut out the ball, but wins it back there, Bruno. And then a foul on Longstaff, and it's going to be a Leeds free kick. There's still more to come in. There's more to come in, Paul. Here's Strauch. James Justin with the ball back to Perry. Perry sends that one long. Up towards Anton Stack. He can't get there. It's going to bounce all the way. That one was a little bit too hard, Perry, and it bounced all the way through to Nick Pope. Yeah, Burnley seem to be putting in some decent... Even when they're losing, they're putting in some decent performances. Here's Livramento. Now Elanga. Ball cut out by James Justin, and then Harrison's touch goes out of play. Ball back with Fabian Schär now. Am I happy with our goalkeepers? Darlow had never made a mistake like he made in midweek before, and he's been really good for us. And Perry, I think it's a one-off game against Arsenal when you get battered 5-0. And it's too early to judge on Perry, I think, but he's been solid today. Here's Gruev. Little chipped ball forward, but picked up there by Brendan Aronson. Aronson's still going forward here. Plays the ball out wide to Bogle. Leeds with a bit of a chance here. Bogle just cleared away there by Dan Burn, I think. Oh, no, it's Hall in the end. And now Bruno Guimaraes tries to play an outside of the football forward, but Strauch plays it. Great ball down the line to Bogle. Bogle with the ball towards Calvert-Lewin. And I think that's going to be a Newcastle goal kick. Or is it a corner? Oh, I think it's a corner in the end. I think it was a little bit of a foul by Fabian Schär there. Just shoulder right in between Dominic Calvert-Lewin's shoulder blades and just shoves him to the turf. But either way, Schär wins the header, and it's going to be a Leeds corner kick. Probably Ekatike. I imagine Gyökeres will score against all the lower half of the table, Gyökeres, but I don't think he'll do that well against the best teams. Ball into the box for Leeds. It's a foul apparently on Bruno Guimaraes. Honestly, if you just fall over in the box when a corner comes in, even if no one touches you, the referee won't be able to see through that big crowd, and he'll just... Oh my God, that's horrendous. Bruno Guimaraes just grabs Strauch around the waist and then throws himself to the floor. No one did anything to him, and they get a free kick and we don't get to carry on with our corner. So what I'm saying is true. Just genuinely throw yourself to the ground. And you'll win yourself a free kick when a corner comes into the box. He's got to pick a man of the match, Jamie Carragher, and he's not sure who because it hasn't been a fantastic game, he's saying. I don't think it's been that bad of a game, to be honest. Calvert-Lewin wins that header. Harrison just about keeps it in. Burns going to have to try and clear that. It's quite a good clearance, actually, and now that's going to be a foul against... the Newcastle United forward Osula on Anton Stack and a free kick to Leeds. I think Germany's probably the most similar league to the Premier League out of the other top 5 leagues, though, to be fair, but... Yeah, so we haven't taken this free kick yet, by the way. Jack Harrison then is going to take this free kick. And in honour of Jack Harrison, in the last 2 minutes, I grew a bun so that I could purposely emulate him so that he can take this free kick. Jack Harrison then, just inside the Newcastle half, plays the ball forwards. Nick Pope can just come up and catch that. And now Newcastle are trying to break forward here. Gruev trying to stop Guimaraes. Ball down the line there with the outside of his foot. Bogle does really well to defend against Harvey Barnes there. Brendan Aronson tries to play a ball forward towards Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but it was a bit aimless. He just kind of hoofed it. I think early on, Bogle had a few errors where he's a little bit out of position and stuff, but he's definitely grown into the game and played well since. I think what Sean Longstaff's done in midfield, he's been industrious, he's won the ball back a lot. Just Leeds need to actually do stuff when they go forward with it. Speaking of which, here's Jayden Bogle towards Calvert-Lewin, saved by Nick Pope. First proper shot on target there as Calvert-Lewin ran through on goal. It's a good run there from Calvert-Lewin. That's what you get with him, the striker's runs that he makes. Nick Pope just essentially just kicks it away with his foot. Fair points, Bart, fair points. It's going to be a throw into Leeds here. Oh, he's done so well here, Aronson. Cuts it back to Bogle. Bogle in the box, tries to cut it across. Nick Pope manages to just catch that one. He just tipped it and then caught it. Yeah, Longstaff up there for me, Karen, as well. I think he's been really good. 6 minutes added on, by the way. 6 minutes added on. Here's Dan Burn. Now Fabian Schär. Miley plays it out wide here to Elanga. Longstaff trying to help out with the defensive duties. As Elanga just runs out into touch under the pressure of James Justin and Sean Longstaff. Bogle and Aronson both with really good feet in the box there. Aronson did really well to skip past the player and get across, get the ball across to Bogle. Perry then to take his goal kick. As marching on together rings out around Elland Road. Poor goal kick goes straight to Elanga. Now Barnes out on the left-hand side. Poor goal kick has caused this. Ball clipped into the box, headed away by Anton Stack. Longstaff's going to get on the end of it. Longstaff's just lost the ball there to Tonali. Tonali to Harvey Barnes on the edge. Good block there by Stack again. Rodon, actually, I think it was. Here's Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Now Harrison. If he can switch the play, there's potentially gaps over the other side. Foul there by Guimaraes on Harrison, and Leeds get a free kick on the halfway line. Chance to regroup there a little bit after that poor goal kick led to a Newcastle attack. I've got to say, I'm really happy with the performance. I don't think we should push particularly hard for a winner, and that sounds crazy, but it's similar to what Bart's saying there. Because what a touch by Jack Harrison. Oh, Jack Harrison's absolutely done his defender. Jack Harrison with a chance to get the ball across the box. Poor ball in the end to Stack, and it's cut out by Miley, of all people, and it's going to be a Leeds United corner kick. He does really poor, Livramento, but Jack Harrison just can't quite get it across to Stack to finish there, and it's going to be a corner kick to Leeds United. Come on, Jackie. Ball in. Rodon, Strauch and Calvert-Lewin are all in a little cuddle together here, talking to each other. Ball comes into the box towards the back post, headed back across. Pope catches and falls to the ground there, and he's going to try and release Newcastle here potentially. Throws it out there. Leeds need to make sure that they're back in positions here. Here's Miley. Good ball across to Bruno Guimaraes. Leeds need to cut that passing lane towards Elanga as Osula comes back and gets the ball. Here's Livramento. Now Osula turns on it well. Plays the ball to Elanga. Justin tries to get a stop on that, a block on that, but the cross from Elanga goes straight into touch for a Leeds goal kick. Really poor. Yep, Karras going for Sean Longstaff as well for his player of the match. Tackles 5, rank first in the team. Jules won 8, first in the team. Distant covered 9.9 kilometres, second out of everyone on the pitch. I don't know. It's weird one, Isaac, isn't it? Because it's a World Cup year as well, and did Sweden qualify? Someone let me know if Sweden qualified. I can't bother Googling it. I'm watching the game. But he'll want to be in that squad if they have. And so if he's not getting game time, he probably will be, but he'll want to be match sharp. Perry then with a long ball forward. Well, it's a World Cup year next year, but you know what I mean. Here's Jack Harrison then. Well, gives the ball to James Justin for the throw-in. Justin throws that backwards. And here's Strauk. Strauk clips that ball forward towards Calvert-Lewin, but it bounces all the way through to Pope. Here is Tonali. Ball across to Dan Burn now. Here's Bruno Guimaraes. Long ball forward here. James Justin just going to stop Miley being able to do anything with it, and it's going to be a Leeds goal kick. 40 seconds to go here, or 30 seconds to go here. Oh, so yeah, he'll be wanting them to qualify, and then he'll be wanting to be in the squad, which I'd imagine he will be regardless, because he's going to be their best striker no matter what happens. But yeah, it's like you'd want to be match sharp, wouldn't you? Long ball forward here from Perry. Calvert-Lewin can't quite win that one ahead of Burn. That's the final whistle. 4 points from 3 games against Newcastle, Arsenal, and Everton is exactly what I'd have wanted to see. I think we played really well, you know. I think we played really, really well. And let me stop the timer. Look, when Dominic Calvert-Lewin came on, I think Mecha played really well in that first half, but when Calvert-Lewin came on, there's no doubt that we had more chances on goal, and the same thing happened against Sheffield Wednesday. I don't think that's a coincidence. The cleverness of his runs, his ability to get in front. So, yeah, I like what Calvert-Lewin was about in that game. NT Football saying, coming from a Newcastle fan here, I honestly believe we'd have both scored. Newcastle and Leeds each. I had this ref not being as bad as he is. Yeah, I think it was a good and evenly contested game, you know, though. And we are very, very happy with the point from our point of view. 4 points from a potential 9 in the first 3 games, of course, is really, really good for Leeds, considering the opponents that we played. Sean Longstaff having some reunions with some of his ex-teammates, of course, there. But Noah Okafor having a crack with, Fabian Schär, because they're both Switzerland, and then also with Sandro Tonali, because they both played for AC Milan. That's where the connection is there. But, look, a draw against Newcastle and a win against Everton, I think you're happy with that. I certainly am very, very happy with that. So, look, thanks for watching, everybody. Really, really happy with that. Of course, transfer deadline day, Monday. So there will be some content between now and Monday, depending on what happens, whether it's a live stream over the last kind of minutes or whether it's videos on the transfers that we're going to make. Hopefully we make 2 more. It's late. It's very late. Mr. Joe Blackburn is here. Shout out Mr. Joe B. We take those 100%. Absolutely, mate. Honestly, a point from this game, 3 points from the Everton game. You're never expected to beat Arsenal. So 4 points from 3 games is really, really good. And I'm really happy with that. Honestly, really happy with that. If we could get Hamer and Demirovic, je ne sais quoi, chef's kiss. I'd be very, very happy with that. But yeah, look, Leeds are on 4 points at the international break, which puts us. Goodmanson got me 6 points and Alanga got me 1 point. Rodon got me 6 points as well. Probably should have put him in the side. Let's have a look at the actual table, though. Leeds United are in 10th position, 3 games, 4 points. Not bad at all, is it, really? We've got Fulham next, and then Wolves, I think. So 4 points out of Fulham and Wolves, and you're absolutely laughing, aren't you? 4 points out of Fulham and Wolves, and you're buzzing, really, realistically, aren't you? So, yeah, look, thanks everybody so much for joining me. Of course, we will have some stuff on the transfers before Monday. Of course, and then, of course, we'll be back for the Fulham game. But expect some transfer content. Expect some maybe a tactical preview as well. All that good stuff. And make sure you watch the match reaction where I talk more in depth about what happened in this game straight after this. So yeah, thanks for watching Leeds lately, and I shall see you in the next one. There we go. Bye, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for joining me.